2019 was quite a year, from celebrity scandals to unlikely breakout stars to royal babies being born to Tony Stark dying. The year was without a doubt a roller coaster year. Here are some of the trends and stories that shook the internet both home and abroad in the year that was 2019. January. Internationally, the year started on a rough note. Well, for Chris Brown at least, who was falsely accused of rape by a woman in France. Actor Jussie Smollett was alleged to have been attacked by two men in Chicago, which started an enormous scandal for the actor that would go on for weeks. And in movies, Black Panther won big at the SAG Awards. In Nigeria, however, 2019 was an election year, and many looked forward to the main presidential debate. However, candidates from the two main political parties, incumbent President Muhammadu Buhari of the APC and Atiku Abubakar of the PDP, were no-shows. In music, Davido sold out the 20,000 capacity O2 Arena, heralding a very successful year for the artist that would subsequently see him finally dropping his album and welcoming his third child. Oh, and we dare not forget the surprise mega hit he would later have with Chris Brown in the summer. The biggest story in January, however, was singers Adekunle Gold and Simi tying the knot. The pair had been secretly dating for years, even though everyone was suspicious about their relationship. Anyway, to the delight of many, they got married in January, put out a new song, and shared images from their honeymoon in Cape Town, South Africa. February. February saw the arrest of rapper 21 Savage by the US Immigration and Customs Force, better known to us as ICE, which caused a major stir in the music community. Details of Empire actor Jussie Smollett also came out in February with evidence showing that he orchestrated his own fake racist attack. Also in Chicago, R. Kelly was charged with 10 counts of sexual abuse following renewed investigations in the singer's past after a documentary titled Surviving R. Kelly came out a few weeks earlier. Michelle Obama made a surprise appearance at the Grammys and interestingly is now a nominee at next year's Grammys. The biggest news in the US entertainment scene, however, was probably Cardi B making history as the first solo female rapper to win Best Rap Album. We'll talk more about Cardi B, aka Chioma B, a little later. In Nigeria, however, we saw reality star turned actor Toby Bakare holding on for dear life at a photo shoot that had him on a horse. But nothing was bigger than Nigeria's 2019 general elections as Nigerians went to the polls to vote and as the hashtag #NigeriaDecides2019 continued to trend. On election day, February 16th, Nigerians woke up to the news from INEC that the elections would be postponed by a week because of operational and logistics challenges. The presidential and National Assembly elections then held on Saturday, February 23rd and recorded a number of disruptions in form of violence, loss of lives and property, and ballot box snatching. March saw Kylie Jenner named as the youngest billionaire in history by Forbes magazine. The 21-year-old dethroned previous record holder Mark Zuckerberg, who became a billionaire at 23. The richest member of the Kardashian-Jenner clan achieved billionaire status with her company Kylie Cosmetics' huge success and massive valuation. March also saw embattled singer R. Kelly go off the rails, screaming, cursing, and pacing in an interview with Gayle King that shocked viewers around the world. In related news, Kelly was arrested for the second time in weeks for failing to pay $161,000 in child support fees to his ex-wife. Bringing things back home, American-based UFC fighter Kamaru Usman made history to become the first person from Nigeria and Africa to win the UFC World Championship. He defended his title later in December in a fight against Colby Covington. In a different fight, one of the verbal kind, we saw singer Inyanya and music executive Ubi Franklin trade blame over Inyanya's departure from the Made Men music group, the label's relationship with techno, and a few other controversies surrounding the label and its members. On Twitter, Nigerians spent days debating how appropriate it is to tell an interviewer that they smell nice. The hashtag #YouSmellNice trended after a female interviewer tweeted about how she had called out a man she'd interviewed after he told her that she smelled nice. The nerve. I don't think anything had Nigerians on Twitter more torn in the month of March. Actress Adesua Etomi also made the news in March after she appeared alongside other high-profile actresses on the April cover of Vogue magazine. April began on a sad note on the morning of Monday, April 1st, when the world woke up to the news of the killing of rapper Nipsey Hussle in front of his LA store the day before. The Grammy-nominated artist was just receiving mainstream success. The incident sent shockwaves through the music community as celebrities and fans came together at different events to honor Nipsey and speak against gang violence. April also saw Kiss Daniel start his wildly popular FU challenge with different singers dropping bars using the instrumental of the song. One that really got tongues wagging was Victoria Kimani's version, which saw her take shots at YC and Tiwa Savage. Expecting parents, Prince Harry and Meghan Markle set a new record on Instagram in April when their new account became the new fastest account to reach 1 million followers in a little under 6 hours. Burna Boy and Mr. Eazi put Nigeria on the map at Coachella as some of the incredible acts to perform at the illustrious music festival this year. Other headlining acts were Elamay, Idris Elba, Diplo, Khalid, and Ariana Grande. In TV news, the most anticipated TV event of 2019 happened on April 14th, when the 8th season of Game of Thrones premiered and was watched by 17.4 million viewers across several platforms, setting a new record. The final season, which saw the death of many key characters of the show, had its fair share of shocking moments, but apparently none underwhelmed as much as the death of antagonist Queen Cersei. Fans of the show were largely disappointed with how the final season of the hit HBO show was handled after such a groundbreaking run with previous seasons. And let's not forget the famous coffee cup saga from episode 4. May. The Duke and Duchess of Sussex became parents when Prince Harry and Meghan Markle's son, Archie Harrison Mountbatten Windsor, was born on May 6th and is Her Majesty's 8th great-grandchild and 7th in line to the throne. In fashion, the Met Gala had the biggest stars looking their most flamboyant on the iconic red steps in line with this year's theme, which was Camp, Notes on Fashion. Some of the night's biggest moments were Billy Porter's entrance, Zendaya's magic dress, and Lady Gaga's numerous on-the-spot outfit changes.
Hello guys, good evening to you.
Bringing things back home, Bob Risky gave us one of the best phrases of 2019 when he said, and I quote, "Tani broe." The entrepreneur in the video was complaining about people in his comments who'd repeatedly say things like, "You look good bro, looking good bro," to which Bob Risky replied, "Tani broe, your bro is in Yaba receiving treatment. Epic." One story that stuck around for most of May was the arrest of Zlatan, Naira Marley, and 3 other men by the EFCC in connection with alleged internet fraud. Zlatan and the other suspects were released days after, but Naira Marley remained in EFCC custody owing to what they called overwhelming evidence against him. On May 16th, the singer was slammed with an 11-count charge bordering on fraud. The case seemed to only make the singer more popular as he probably had the best year of his career thus far and birthed a community of loyalists who call themselves Malians. In one of the biggest philanthropic acts of the year, billionaire Robert F. Smith pledged to pay off over $40 million of student loans of the 2019 graduating class of Morehouse College in Atlanta, Georgia. June. In June, Diddy's ex, Cassie, introduced us to her new man when she broke the news that they were expecting a child together. What shocked many was the fact that Cassie had only just broken up with Diddy 8 months earlier. Anyway, after the fiancé and pregnancy reveal in June, fast forward to September when the couple got married, and then to December when the baby arrived. Wow, Cassie had quite a year. Also in June, Busola Dakolo's interview with Y Naija on her past and how she was allegedly sexually abused by Koza pastor Biodun Fatoyinbo caused a major stir in the country and reignited questions about the Koza pastor's history and claims by other women that had accused Pastor Fatoyinbo of similar offenses. Also in June, Nigerian-British boxer Anthony Joshua shocked sports fans when he lost a high-profile match against contender Andy Ruiz Jr. in Madison Square Garden. The two boxers met later in the year in December, where Joshua emerged victorious and reclaimed his title after a 12-round bout. The match, tagged The Clash on the Dunes, took place in Saudi Arabia, and it's reported that AJ went home with £46 million, while Ruiz Jr. went home with £7.5 million. Not bad for a day's job, eh? July. In July, the new record for the highest grossing movie ever was set by Avengers Endgame. The final movie in the Avengers franchise was released in April, but with a re-release weeks later containing additional scenes, the Marvel blockbuster exceeded Avatar's $2.78 billion record in July to clinch the title of the highest grossing film of all time. In politics, well, kind of. 41-year-old Senator Elisha Abo was caught on camera allegedly physically assaulting a woman in a sex toy shop in Abuja. The incident caused public outrage as this was another in a series of recent disturbing, intolerable acts of violence against women in Nigeria. A few days after the video went public, the senator was arraigned by the police in a magistrate court where he pleaded not guilty. However, July saw the constant domination of social media by the hit TV reality show Big Brother Naija, which returned on June 30th for its 4th season. This season saw 26 hopefuls go into the Big Brother Naija house for a chance at fame, fortune, and 60 million naira worth of prizes. The numerous memorable moments from the show dominated social media not just in July, but pretty much for all 99 days that the show aired. OLORISUPERGAL was even a part of the action as we sat down with every single one of the housemates after their evictions, and we were number 1 when it came to live social media updates and highlights throughout the season. In big music trends in July, Nigerian music got a major boost this summer as Beyonce released a secret music project for the Lion King soundtrack titled The Gift. And on it were Nigerian singers Yemi Alade, Burna Boy, Wizkid, Tiwa Savage, and Mr. Eazi. Wizkid featured on the most popular song on the album alongside Beyonce herself and her daughter Blue Ivy on the hit song Brown Skin Girl, which quickly became one of the year's biggest hashtags on Instagram. August began with activist Omoyele Sowore being illegally abducted by the DSS, who held him in custody for 125 days despite court orders authorizing his release. He was subsequently released on December 5th and forcefully rearrested again by the DSS the following day. Burna Boy marked another milestone in August when his album African Giants debuted at number 16 on the UK Albums Top 40 chart, making it the highest ranking African album to ever hit the chart. He also appeared on The Late Show with Trevor Noah that month. Add that to his feature on Beyonce's album and his performance on Jimmy Kimmel Live in July, his Best International Act win at the BET Awards in June, and his performance at Coachella in April, and you can say that Burna Boy was definitely on a roll in 2019. In couples news, Colombian model Sonia Larena announced that she and Nollywood actor Ike Ogbonna were divorced. Ike also confirmed the news. The two got married 4 years ago in Serbia and they have a son together. September saw South Africa back in the news, but for unsavory reasons. Xenophobic attacks left at least 12 people dead and hundreds injured after mobs attacked foreign-owned shops in Johannesburg and Pretoria. The attacks were condemned internationally and it led to reprisal attacks abroad, and South African-affiliated businesses were also attacked in retaliation in Nigeria. Nigeria evacuated some of its citizens from South Africa and recalled its High Commissioner. As the incredibly successful season of Big Brother Naija Pepper Dem was in its final days, the biggest shocker came in September when housemates Tacha and Mercy got into a shouting match, which later saw Tacha pull Mercy's hair, which violated the show's rules regarding violence and physical harm. Later that evening, Big Brother laid down the law by issuing Mercy with 2 strikes for her role in the fight, but Biggie also ended Tasha's time in the Big Brother house by disqualifying the Rivers State native. The decision shocked housemates and fans alike in what was one of the biggest twists in the show's history. October. In the month Nigeria turned 59, the BBC Africa Eye released a documentary in which journalist Kiki Modi investigated cases of harassment in West African universities, a menace that has been going on for years in our higher institutions. Going undercover with a team of other investigators, the documentary revealed how some students in schools like the University of Lagos and the University of Ghana are harassed and solicited for physical relations in exchange for grades or favors. In big October entertainment news, 3 major events happened between the 19th and the 20th. Nigeria's biggest hip-hop award ceremony, the Headies, held but with a number of major stars absent. That's because many of them were at Starboy Fest, where Wizkid sold out the O2 Arena for the 2nd time in his career for his October 19th concert. Some of the superstars that performed were Olamide, Burna Boy, Naira Marley, and Tiwa Savage. The next day, on October the 20th, Davido and his fiancée Chioma welcomed their son, Ifeanyi David Jr. He's Davido's 3rd child and his 1st son. The hottest story on Twitter was the revelation that entrepreneurs Glory Ose and Muyiwa Folorunsho are married. The revelation came after a few ex-employees accused the couple of fraud and the severe maltreatment of employees on Twitter, with others corroborating the claims. Glory Ose, who was known to be a popular feminist on social media, took time off different platforms when the scandal broke. There hasn't been a hotter topic on Nigerian Twitter since then. November. November was a busy month, especially in the tech space. First of all, Twitter co-founder and CEO Jack Dorsey and a few colleagues visited Nigeria on a tour which also included Ghana and Ethiopia, where he dialogued with members of the tech community. The second richest man in China and former Alibaba chairman Jack Ma also visited Nigeria to understand Africa more, he said. He and his Chinese delegates met with the vice president as well as a host of other entrepreneurs, stakeholders, and tech enthusiasts. November also saw the successful hosting of the 6th edition of the New Media Conference, where players across various industries gathered to discuss the prospects of new and digital media for activism, enterprise, and entertainment in the world today. The theme this year was reinventing new media through storytelling. This year's panelists included Fade Ogunro, Godwin Tom, Chidi Okereke, Wana Udobang, and a host of other awesome speakers across different fields. Also in November, the South African rugby team with its first black captain, Siya Kolisi, sent South Africa into a euphoric frenzy when they defeated England to win the Rugby World Cup. Still on South Africa, but this time in music news, the Africa Unite concert Burna Boy was meant to perform at got cancelled amidst controversy and threats of violence. Months earlier, there were frictions between South Africa and Nigeria over xenophobic attacks, which caused Burna Boy and South African rapper AKA to exchange words, and Burna Boy at one point vowed never to set foot in South Africa again. When news of Burna Boy performing at an upcoming show in South Africa came out, AKA and a few others suggested that things won't be peaceful as they were ready to cause trouble. However, while there was now no South African show on the horizon anymore, Burna Boy still ended the month with big news. His album African Giant was nominated for a Grammy in the Best World Music Album category. I guess that was enough to silence the haters. Oh, and did I mention that at the beginning of the month, he became the first African act to sell out the 12,500 capacity Wembley Arena in London? What hasn't Burna Boy achieved in 2019? December began with some shocking news as actor Gbenro Ajibade announced on Rubbing Minds that his marriage with actress Osazi Ighodaro was over and they are now divorced. We reported earlier in the year that trouble seemed to be brewing between the two when Gbenro deleted all of his now ex-wife's pictures on his Instagram page, and also when he called her out on alleged excessive partying and neglecting their daughter as a result. Osaz pretty much said nothing when the news hit the blogs, but one thing's for sure, and it's that they are definitely divorced. The couple met on the set of the show Tinsel and got married in New York in 2015. In December, South Africa was jubilant once again, and this time all of Black Africa shared in the joy and celebration as Miss South Africa, Zozibini Tunzi, wore the crown of Miss Universe 2019. The dark-skinned beauty became the third South African in history to win the Miss Universe pageant, but the first Black South African to wear the crown. Visibly overjoyed, the new Miss Universe ushers in a new era of diversity in our increasingly diverse world. The lavish ceremony held at the brand new Tyler Perry Studios in Atlanta. Every other headline in Dirty December paled in comparison to the phenomenon that was Cardi B's trip to Nigeria and Ghana. The Grammy-winning artist came to perform at concerts in both countries, but it was her adventures and numerous interactions with the public and how she documented all of it on social media that made her a trending topic and Nigeria's newest sweetheart for days. Cardi met with fans, visited an orphanage with gifts, learned new slangs, and made it rain at a gentleman's club to the sheer delight of all the women that were able to perform for her. She also repeatedly spoke well of the country and how much fun she was having in Nigeria. The Ghanaian leg of her tour was a bit more controversial as some ladies complained on social media that Cardi kept them waiting for hours at a meet and greet. Apparently, Cardi wasn't initially aware of the meet and greet, but she turned up anyway for her fans. However, the damage had already been done, as the ladies at the meet and greet had already provided the internet with content that had us laughing for days. Visit again soon, Cardi B. The final shocker of 2019, and probably the biggest headline in American politics this year, was the impeachment of President Donald Trump by the House of Representatives. The 45th President of America was charged with the abuse of power and obstruction of Congress on December 18th. It's now down to a vote from Senate to determine whether to convict the president and remove him from office. But no matter how it turns out, President Trump is now the third US president to have been impeached and the first to have been impeached while in his first term. And there you have it, our biggest trends and stories of 2019. Thanks for sticking with us all year round. OLORISUPERGAL wishes you a happy new year and an amazing 2020.